What's going on, everybody? This is Super Robot N, and today we're going to talk about two things here. First is Hasbro wanting to continue to venture into AAA gaming, and the second is the new Cyber World series that's set to start in July. Now, the first part, of course, actually is I didn't report on this as the AAA gaming, and to be quite honest with you, it's too late. And I'll discuss that in the video. It's just too late. I mean, y'all need to wake up. Now, I want to explain that. There's a lot that I think people are glossing over. And I mean, how I feel about Cyberworld, I think it's a good thing that they're going to be on YouTube. Hasbro needs every dollar they can get. And I need people to understand Hasbro is in dire straits. They are, whether you like to hear it or not. And yes, they don't want to make toys anymore. And I know I'm not going to go into the whole YouTubers thing, but the same YouTubers saying that, oh, 1 minute they're going to make toys and the next minute they're not. They're not. It's the latter. They're not. Trust me. And Chris Cox is not the enemy. He's just doing the bidding of the top level investors. They hired him for a purpose, and that purpose is to be what they are, what they want to be, I should say, an IP rights holder. And I explain that because we're going to start with the game. Like, I'm not buying any of this. Hasbro's not the victim in this situation. They are not. And I'll explain why. So we know the story behind the game. I'll post a link to my video. It's basically the first company when the game was called Rise. They were really doing this to do just boost up their portfolio. When that didn't work, I think it went to Splash Damage. And then after a few years, Splash Damage is like, we can't do it. And Hasbro's great. All right, I have a problem with that. Why I have a problem with that? Not necessarily the companies, because the companies that you hire are only going to do the work that you hire them to do. And if they don't do the work, you should get rid of them. The same thing happened with WWE with one of their games. I think they were having a game done and they wanted to switch companies and the game had to look good. And it did. They succeeded in getting a better looking game because I think like the year before it was bad. And Sans AEW, well, they put out a AAA game that is not very AAA looking. In fact, some people say it looks like it's from an older generation. And in this day and this age, how things move rapidly and game engines change. From 2019 to be canceled at the end of 2024, that's bad. Hasbro had plenty of time to switch companies. They had money from the Bumblebee movie that could have been moved around to make a better game. Something could have been done to get the game out of the reins of these companies that weren't qualified to make the games. So there's no excuse from Hasbro because they're paying to have these games done. And so them working with the developer for the Space Marines, that might be good. Basically they want to use the tentpole IP. And you know what I say to that? That's cool. Go for it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's worth it. I mean, if you can make a game that's going to have an open world environment and you're doing it off of the successful engine of a previous game, just basically put Transformers in it at a time where we need a game that could work while the buzz is still good. We're not getting a Devastation 2, which would have been, I think, easiest to make, but sadly we're not getting that. So yeah, I think that would be a good idea. And I'm sorry I bled over into the Transformers Cyber World slide here, but I had to get my thoughts out on the game, and I didn't want to make this video like overly long, but I'm going to do my best, to get my points out, because the last video I made of this I glossed over a lot of things with stuff that didn't make sense. On to Cyber World. So Cyber World, this is a new series. Cyber World is going to be on, what's this thing here? It's going to be on YouTube. I'm saying, what's this thing here? It's YouTube. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. That makes perfect sense. Y'all realize that Hasbro just doesn't throw a TV show up and, hope to make money. No, they have to pay to make that money. And with the way that YouTube is right now, with the way that so many people are on YouTube, and YouTube is like TV for a lot of us. I know for myself, my prime time is spent on YouTube. Very rarely do I watch TV. And it's YouTube TV. So it's YouTube. YouTube has a lot of traction now. YouTube for Hasbro is free, just like it's free for me as a creator. That means that I can put my stuff on my videos up without any cost. And Hasbro can do the same thing. Why? It's going to drive revenue. It's kids' cartoons. The ad revenue might be a little different, how they feel about, kids shows, which I definitely, because, we got to protect our kids because it's crazy, nefarious people out there. I do suspect that them putting it on YouTube TV would be the most economical way to do it because there's no cost. And Hasbro is doing their damnedest to get people to buy toys. That's why they went to the MegaCon, and showed off a lot of stuff. And they went to a MegaCon, a convention to show off their HasLab, but you would think they would either announce it themselves or announce it, at one of, maybe like a New York Comic Con or a San Diego Comic Con. So all of that plays into what is going on with Hasbro right now. And, you could get in your feelings and, go to other YouTubers. I'm not going to tell you, listen, I'm not arguing with other YouTubers. I don't do that. In fact, I left that alone because I know what I know. This is where we're looking at the beginning of the end. It's a long, slow burn, but eventually it's going in that direction. As far as the cartoon being on YouTube, cool. You'll get a lot of people. You'll get people to watch it. It's easier, accessible. No one has to deal with streaming services or, what channel is it on? I mean, Cartoon Network isn't going to give you the buzz like it used to, especially during the day. It's more or less Adult Swim now. So the only other case you have is Nickelodeon or Disney. Disney's not down with it because, they got their own thing. Even though indirectly Hasbro makes the Marvel toys, you're not going to see Transformers on Disney. However, it could be Nickelodeon, Paramount. But a lot of people, I think this time around, they know that can alienate their fans. So they decided they want to go ahead and put the show on YouTube. That's arguably, I would not, I'm 100% behind that. Better than paying for a network to broadcast the show for you when you don't have the money, which means we're going to get the toy line in July as well, which is going to be, of course, Cyberverse, Earthspark type toys. And, it's fine. They're not for kids. Kids don't buy toys. Adults do. So at the end of the day, they're just toys that you normally wouldn't play with. There may be a couple, like so far in the, one of the, the Earthspark Soundwave looks pretty cool. It turns a jet. I want that. But I mean, as far as I'm concerned, the new toys, they're going to be the same type toys. If you're into it, you're into it. If you're not going to be into it. But like I said, accessibility and getting eyes on the product is what Hasbro wants to do. So I'm all for that. I don't have a problem with that at all. So I agree with that, but I just think that overall, this is just the beginning of a slow end. We're still going to get toys, y'all. We're going to get toys next year and probably the year after that, maybe a few years down the line. But as they reduce the wave counts and the fact that they stated they're not going to reprint a lot of figures, they're going in this direction. And I think this is where we're headed. And there's no need to get upset, argue, and try to find something that's not. If they want to do a Transformer 1 sequel, somebody's got to pay for that. And if no one wants to pay for it and they decide they want to do it, send it straight to streaming or something, do it that way. I mean, that might be a better option, but I just don't see Transformers being a viable brand like it used to be. It isn't. And that's because of the fact that when you have a Transformer property, what the biggest thing was, is all you had to do is say Transformers and people go run and see the movie. Again, it's the casual. That's the casual that they want because that's the one that's going to spend their money and may become a fan. We're fans. Our money's already spoken for. That's just something we need to, think about. But as I stated, toy line coming out in July. We'll see what the toys look like. We've seen horrible, mega, whatever he's supposed to be. Megatron's a bull. It looks okay. I mean, it is what it is. But anyway, Cyberworld set to go on YouTube. I call that a good call. A AAA game using the Tentpole engine IP. Possible. But hey, whatever it takes to make a great game. Y'all should have done this a while ago, but hey, it's never too late. Let's just see how things go. But trust me, state of affairs is the state of affairs. It's going down. What are your thoughts? Leave them down in the comments below. This is Super Robot Ed, bringing more news, reviews to you. And we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.